I'm going to do a little fabrication video, try and be brief. It just to help people out, maybe point out a few things. This is how the PCBs came from the printer. Obviously, tried to get them to V-groove these boards, but they said they were too small. I mean, I guess other people might be quite happy to V-groove them, but unfortunately, you're going to have to cut these with a hobby knife or a tile cutter. I used JLC PCB, and they're pretty good. They're very accurate with sizes, which was important for this project, and the printing's fine. So this is obviously the main board. These are connected. There's a cut line there. You have to be absolutely spot on with that cut, otherwise it's not going to fit in the case. So bang on the white line. These ones not so much. If you get them slightly off, it won't be the end of the world, but they just won't look great. I'm only going to do a couple of kits, but I'll obviously cut these for the kits. These two were mistakes because I needed to swap a couple of pins round, so these wouldn't actually work. That's why there's a second one here, and these two work. These are blanks. Kind of rushed. I wanted to get this red board in with the other order though, so I kind of rushed this through. So you don't need that or that unless you want to program some other games. Right, I'm not going to show people how to cut boards. I tried a hobby knife to start off with, and it does work. It just takes a long time, and then a friend gave me a tile cutter, which does speed up the process, and I sort of use the tile cutter and then a little bit of hobby knife and blah blah blah. I do both sides, and they come out clean. You obviously have to be careful with these holes here, because you don't want to break the board or snap the board in a jaggedy fashion. Right. Okay, so this is all surface mount here, obviously. These are surface mount. I didn't have too much trouble soldering this stuff. There's enough space to get your soldering iron in for everything. Resistor placement could have been better. I'm a rookie at this. This is my first PCB, so really, these resistors, or one of these resistors, should be over there, and then I could have put a 4th hole there. Oh well, I'm not gonna do a retake just for that. The order you do things is up to you, obviously, but you can make your life a little bit easier by doing it in a sort of logical fashion. If you do the female connectors, for example, on the cartridges and this joystick, then you can line up the male pins and make sure they're going to fit. These male connectors that connect on the other side are a bit of a pain, and I have sorry, this bit over here, this pin is very close to the battery enclosure. It doesn't touch, but I'm going to get slagged off for that, and well, it doesn't touch, so tough luck. If I had my time over again, I'd move that a little bit, but it works, so stuff it. Right, I think as I said, I'm not going to show obviously cutting the boards. I'm going to gloss over some of it because it's obvious, so let's get cracking. So these are the cut PCBs. Just the last thing on that, obviously this one got to be accurate, but also don't go crazy with the sanding. You don't want to take too much material out there. That will still fit in the case, but you want a nice snug fit, so just a really brief sand. These ones you can square up as much as you want. So I'm going to start with the joystick, I think. Yeah, let's get the bits. So, got my joystick and the resistors in ascending, descending value. Well, I know where they all are. And the resistors are all resistor values marked on the board, so can't really go wrong. I use the the solder one pad method, which works for me, but whatever's good for you. So just things aren't working right. There we go. And let's just pop one on, and then I'll just fast forward it. Boop. Let's try this again. Shaky hands. That's good. As I said, I'm just gonna fast forward this now. So the next thing I would probably go for is the joystick. Now, one little thing with the joystick is, excuse the crunching, they come with two little mounting points. I don't know if you can see them on the camera. There's two little nodules on the back of the joystick, which are supposed to go into holes on the PCB, but I was using, well, long story short, there's no holes. Okay, it's not the end of the world, because you can't really get that wrong, can you? I mean, you've got to shave off these nodules, just cut them off. Where's my... if I can see them. I don't know if this is in focus or if you can see it, but there's one there and there's one there. I'm going to do it off camera actually. Hang on. Yeah, I'm going to do it off camera. It can only go one or two ways that way, obviously because of the connectors. It can only go one or two ways, but the correct way, obviously there's a little tiny little triangle thing there, you can just about see it, and that corresponds with the triangular shape on the joystick. So obviously don't forget to get that right. You don't want to desolder this, it's going to be a real pain. So you just solder the connectors, the supports first, and then obviously the connectors. Right. That's a bit ugly, but I mean, my method was a bit ugly. Okay, and then we're just left with the switch and the female connector. Yeah, the buttons I've got, as you can see, are not SMD. I'm sure you can get SMD. I just got a whole bag of these. I decided to use these. Just means bending the pins and cutting off a little bit of excess. It's no big deal. So I'll just get that done. Yeah, I would try to get this one absolutely spot on, because obviously it's got to go through a hole in the joystick case, which is pretty close to, well, it has to be spot on, let's just say that. Connector, header, sorry. Now, I couldn't actually find a 5-pin right-angled female header pin. I'm sure they're out there, but it's probably cheaper and easier just to buy something, you know, like a 40 pin, and then cut it down. Cut down female right angle connector. Actually spent a lot, probably too much time on that, but I think it's good to get it right, because it has to go through, obviously go through the case hole, so probably better to spend a bit of time on it. The holes, oh, check out these little space invaders. Ooh. These holes is, you know, there's a bit of play on them, but there you go. So just try and get them central, and then, you know, you're probably gonna burn your fingers. There's not any real other way I can think of doing this, unless obviously I put it on first, which I probably should have done. I'm gonna just hold it in place straight and solder one pin. Big, but that means you can get the solder to come right through. This will be taking the pushing force. It does need to be well soldered. And that ain't coming off in a hurry. You don't need to trim these off, because there's plenty of room in the case, but you might want them.